Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I am going to be filming my birthday makeup that I wore out, but I'm going to be doing it on a model. My model today will be Emily. So let me know what you think. I hope you enjoy, and I will see you in my next video. Bye guys. So I'm starting off by moisturising. I've already cleansed Emily's face. I use Pixie Glow Tonic. That will slightly exfoliate the skin because it's got glycolic acid in. No matter what skin type you've got, this is probably one of the most important steps. You want to prep the skin really well. Then I'm going in with an eye cream. This is to make sure that the under eye is nice and hydrated, and I also take it over the lid because it helps as a base for any eyeshadow. For the brows, I always use Got To Be Glued hair gel. I like this because it helps make the brows look more laminated, like more of the laminated finish that everyone loves, and your brows literally will not budge at all. So this is definitely a must-have. I like to just dry it to make sure that it's not too sticky before I then go and fill them in. So because Em has naturally quite full brows anyway, I'm just giving them a little bit of shape and making them look a little bit fuller. I like to use an angled brush, go through, fill in any sparse areas, and then you'll see once I've done that, I will brush them out just to make sure that it's not sort of patchy and it just looks really evenly distributed through the brows. Whatever's left on the brush goes through the front end of the brow. This just helps it look super natural, and it means you won't end up with block brows. After each step, you want to make sure that you're brushing the brows out just to make sure that the colour's super even throughout. For eyeshadow base, I like to use the P. Louise base. This is super good. You can use concealer, but I just like to use this because it's, especially for eyeshadow, helps it last a lot longer. You want to make sure it's going all over the eyelid, out towards the temple, and also over the inner corner, and you'll see that I blend it kind of in between the brows as well and slightly over the nose. This is to make sure that there's no sort of unevenness and you can't see a difference in colour between the eyeshadow base and the rest of your foundation. You'll see here I'm using little flicking motions to sort of feather the product out and tap it out to make sure that it's super flawless, because that is what we love, flawless everything. Using a smaller brush to carve out the brow, get it really tight underneath, and then taking the remainder of the P. Louise base just to carve around the top edge of the brow. I'm not too heavy-handed with this because I like the top part of the brow to look quite natural. For the eyeshadow base, I always use bronzer. This is MAC Mineralized Skin Finish, using a super fluffy brush, and I take it through the crease. Using a fluffy brush like this just means that it's basically doing the work for you. I'm blending for like 5 seconds, then tapping the brush back into the bronzer and going back in and buffing it out again. Layering the colour is a really important step to making it look completely flawless. It looks like I'm being really heavy-handed, but I'm not at all. I'm hardly touching the skin. You can see on the right side that it looks like I've brought the eyeshadow down quite low. So the reason why I've done this is because we've not got foundation on. So when I do go in and I do the base, it means that I can really clean up anywhere where the eyeshadow has sort of come down a little bit too far, and then it helps lift the eye. I'll help explain that a little bit more when we get onto the skin. The second colour that I'm going to go in with is Cork from MAC. This is a cool toned sort of ashy brown, but it's not too much darker than the bronzer. I am using a tapered blending brush, so what that means is it's still fluffy, so it's still going to basically blend for you, and it's going to make it a lot easier for you to blend anyway. But by it being tapered, it means that you're a lot more precise with where the colours go in. So I'm bringing this still through the crease, but I'm almost bringing it slightly lower, more so onto the lid. This will help give definition. So I've kept it in real time, so I've not edited this, I've not cut it out, so you can see how often I'm literally going back and forth between the eyeshadow and blending, and how long I'm blending for as well. Once I'm happy with the crease, I'm then taking it over the outer half of the eye. Once I've done that, I'm going back in with the P. Louise base on a concealer brush. taking it halfway across the lid, close to the lashes to begin with, and then when M looks up to the ceiling, it will give you a trace line that you can follow, and that's where you will cut the crease. See, now she's looked down, it's created a line, and I will then join the line across the lid to the inner corner. I'm not dragging the brush, I'm tapping it. This means that I've got a lot more control over the brush and where the colour is. Without any additional product on the brush, I'm taking it all the way basically to the outer corner. Now I'm going in with another concealer brush, so this hasn't got any product on at all, and I'm just making sure that the base is blended all the way across the lid. If you don't do this step, you'll really struggle with blending the eyeshadow over the top. I'm going in with a more precise brush and building the colour back up through the crease. So this is the second colour that we used previously, MAC Cork eyeshadow, but you'll see that I'm really buffing the colour and building it back up through the socket now. I then bring the colour over the outer corner with the same brush. I'm going from the outer corner and bringing it directly down to the centre of the lash line. I'm almost pressing the colour on and then really lightly swiping it and buffing it out. For the shimmer, I'm using MAC Pigment in Melon. I load up a concealer brush and then spray it with Fix Plus, and then I pat it over where we put the P. Louise base. You can see that I'm really lightly patting it all the way across the lid to meet the outer corner where we buffed the darker shadow. You don't have to spray the brush with Fix Plus or whatever setting spray you have, but you will find that it will help it look way more metallic and super intense. So it's just a really nice effect if you want to make your eyes pop a little bit more. Once I'm happy with that, I go back in with the outer corner colour and I really lightly build that back up. You don't want to bring it too far across the lid, you're basically just bringing the definition back in. Once I'm happy with that, I'm going back in with the bronzer and just buffing over the top to make sure that the second shade is really flawless. I then like to buff colour along the lash line, so this is a really nice dark chocolatey brown and a little short shader brush, and I get super close to the lashes and I buff all the way from outer corner to inner corner. Doing this step will hide the lash band when you put false lashes on, help the lashes look fuller, and it will also make the eyes look a little bit more intense. So I'm not dragging the brush all the way from outer corner to inner corner, I'm just wiggling the brush, really small motions, so the colour is super intense and packed really tightly to the lash line. You want to be really light-handed so the colour is most intense by the lash line, and then it really gently smokes up and fades into the shimmer on the lid. Then I'm popping a bit of mascara on before we pop lashes on. Whilst I'm waiting for the lash glue to dry, I will start prepping the skin. So I used Professional by Benefit, and I'll take it all through the centre of the face. Once that's done, the lash glue will be tacky enough for me to just pop the lash onto the lid. So you can see how easy that is because it's not sliding around. So for the skin, I used Studio Fix Fluid. You can see that the foundation is a lot darker than M's skin on her face, but the most important thing is the fact that it matches her neck. So I'm using a stippling brush and buffing it all the way over the skin. This is so we've got a base colour, and then you'll see once I've done that, I will go back in and I will layer it to build the coverage up. Making sure that I'm blending it down the jaw, the neck, and over the ears as well. When I'm happy with the colour and I want to start building coverage, I'll start pressing the foundation into the skin. Once I've done one layer, I will go back in and build another layer. So you can see here I'm adding more foundation to give more coverage. If you go in straight away really heavy-handed with foundation, trying to build the coverage up really quick, you'll find that it's more chance of it looking super cakey. Same tip with the eyeshadow, the way to make it look flawless is just by layering the product and taking your time blending it out. I'm just using a smaller brush to go around the brows so we don't disturb them, because obviously we've done those first. Under the eyes has absolutely no foundation because I've gone straight in with Pro Long Wear Concealer from MAC. I'm placing it under the eye, and then you'll see I'm using feathering motions to blend out the edges. I'm not moving the product around too much right up under the eye because I want to keep the coverage there quite full. So instead of buffing it out, I'm tapping it into the skin. To clean up under the eye where we brought the eyeshadow quite low, you want to really lightly use feathering motions and follow the bottom lash line up towards the temple. You can use a sponge to do this, but you'll just find that it'll just soak up a lot more product, which is why I like to use brushes. You also want to make sure that you're blending it over the tear duct so the inner corner isn't looking really dull from where we blended the eyeshadow. Once I'm happy with how the concealer's looking, I'll go back in with the foundation brush and I'll pat over the edges where we blended the concealer into the foundation. When I'm doing this, I've not got any more foundation. This is just the remainder of when we buffed the foundation on. To cream contour, I'm using a MAC concealer. This is just a concealer palette. And I'm just really lightly creating a base colour right over where you would normally bronze. So this means that when we do pop powder bronzer on, it will last a lot longer. I'm keeping the bronzer quite high on the cheekbone. This will help give the face a little bit more structure. So when people say that they want to be contoured and make their face look slimmer, you can do this by being cautious of where you're placing the bronzer. I'm also making sure that I'm buffing it right back into the hairline and also covering the ears. I pop a little bit on the nose and I also bring it quite far onto the cheeks as well. This helps blend the bronzer into the blush when we apply blusher. Once I've done all the cream products, I will always go in and apply Fix Plus. So this is just a setting spray. This will help your makeup last a lot longer as well. Once I've done that, I'm just tapping a little bit of face powder right underneath the eyes. This is MAC Studio Fix, but the powder, so this will give a little bit more coverage as well. I'm then going in and using a fluffy brush and buffing some bronzer over where we popped the cream bronzer. You can see this is bringing a lot more colour back into the face. I am literally obsessed with bronzer, I couldn't live without it. I'm going right over everywhere that we placed the cream one, again buffing it into the hairline, bringing it quite far over the cheek as well. You want to be really careful with when you're applying bronzer, one, how much product you're putting onto the brush, and two, how much pressure you're applying. You don't want to apply too much pressure because you will disturb the coverage that you've just spent ages building up. This is a Vive blush, love the colour, I'll have it listed below because I can't remember what it is right now. Same brush that I applied the bronzer with, take it from the apple of the cheek and then I blend it quite far back, making sure that it's nice and flawless, blended in with the bronzer. Once I've applied the blush, I will wipe my brush off and then just really lightly buff over it all to make sure that it's all really blended together. Then I'm taking bronzer under the eye. I like to buff it out quite low. If you do this, then it helps avoid the under eye creasing as much. I'm going all the way from inner corner to outer corner, making sure that it's blended into the bronzer from the top of the lid as well. Then after that, I'm going to go in with a nude liner. You will see this is from Peaches and Cream. Love this liner. I never used to do this, but it really helps open the eye. So if you struggle with your eyes looking small or you think that you've got slightly smaller eyes, I would definitely recommend this step, whether you're wearing eyeshadow or not. You definitely need a nude eyeliner in your makeup bag. Going back in with the short shader brush and the second colour that we originally used on the lid, and I'm taking this right under the lashes, super close to the lash line. This will just help make the lashes look a bit fuller. This is another MAC pigment in vanilla, popping it on the inner corner. This is absolutely gorgeous. If you're looking for like an inner corner highlight, I would 100% recommend this colour because it's just lush. Popped a bit of mascara on the bottom lashes, and then once we've done that, the eyes are done. Then I'm prepping the lips. This is MAC Prep and Prime. This is a lip primer. It will mattify the lips, so it will give the lipstick something to stick to and make it last so much longer. It also helps stop bleeding as well. This is MAC Tres Blaze lipstick. This is a really nice nude colour. This is literally my go-to. I don't really wear any other shade. Popping it all over the lid. Then for lip liner, I used MAC Strip Down. So that is more of a brown tone liner. Helps give a little bit more definition. It's a little bit darker, but not too much darker. I always put the lipstick on first because then it helps blend the lip liner. I'm following the natural shape of the lip as well. If you want to overline the lips and make them look slightly bigger, you would overline in the center and then follow the natural shape of the lip when you go out to the outer corner. Starting from the middle and working out just helps keep the lips nice and full as well. For highlighter, I use Vive Skin Dew. I don't think I'll ever go back to using powder highlighter again because this stuff is just absolutely insane. I'll always use my hands to blend it out just because it's so much easier than using a brush. This is the finished look. It lasted literally all day and all night when I wore this out. It didn't move at all. I could have slept in it and it probably would have looked the same the next day. I hope you enjoyed watching this video. If you want any more videos like this, please let me know and I will be happy to film them. Thanks for watching, guys.